Namaste everyone. Thank you for joining in this class on Shri Suktam. And as we discussed in the last class, we'll be starting our classes on Friday or every Friday from 9 o'clock onwards, because I suppose that makes it a bit easier for everyone to join in after getting home from office. Anyways, today is the 6th class of this course, or of this, this masterclass on Shri Suktam, and today we will be looking at the exposition of the first mantra of Shri Suktam. Okay, but then before we begin, let's start with the Shanti mantra from the Upanishads. Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunakatu Saha Viryankara Vavahai Tejasvinadadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So when we recite the Sri Suktam, this is a Vedic mantra, right? This is a Vedic mantra, and it comes from the Rig Veda. And when we recite the mantra, or when we recite the verses, what happens is you have to render it with clarity and precision. Okay, and clarity as well as precision will follow the Vedic recitation of Rig Veda as per the method that is followed in Tamil Nadu. Okay, and this form of recitation will take a lot of your breath, because the matra for swarita or dirgha swarita is more. Okay, so I'll not go into the details of the I'll not go to the details of the pronunciation, but then whenever you recite it personally, okay, don't start reciting it. If any one of you is reciting it, then this may be something new for you as well. But when you start reciting, ensure that you recite with the correct swara, with a lot of clarity, with a lot of precision, because if you don't recite Vedic mantras with the correct swara, then it's not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. And as I said, this rendition of Sri Suktam is being done by a method which originated in Tamil Nadu. Okay, and it is also known as the Kumbakonam method. All right, and this is considered to be the most authentic, most authentic by most scholars. But there are other methods too. Okay, I'm not saying that there are other methods don't exist, but this is the most authentic method that I'll be teaching you. Okay, so before we recite the mantra, the first thing before any mantra is to remember Ganapati. Okay, because Ganapati is the seer of all the of the Vedas. Okay, Ganapati is the one who removes all obstacles in our path while starting with a particular recitation or a particular redemption. Okay, so let's do it with the just someone is not muted. Yeah, it's a request to the participants to mute themselves before or after, just after entering the class. Okay, it gets difficult. All right, so let's start with the first mantra out of the 15, and 14 of those mantras are addressed to Sri Lakshmi and Jatavedas Agni. Okay, and the rishis, if you remember, it is Ananda, Kardama, Shreda, and Chiklita, or Sriputra. Okay, with Anushtup, Brahati, and Tishtup Chandas. Okay, so the 15, as I said, there are 15 mantras in the Sri Suktam. The last is the Phalasruti, which of course means the benefit of reciting this sukta. Okay, so let's begin in the way that the sages taught us. Okay. Hiranyavarnam harinim suvarnara chatasrajam chandram hiranmaim lakshming jatavedo ma'avaha. This is the way of doing it. Okay, so you got 1 week to practice to perfect this swara, Okay. And this mantra, it means that, O Jatavedas, please carry me to, or bring to me, the divine mother Lakshmi, who is the supreme beauty, who is the goddess, who is as resplendent as gold, garlanded with gold and silver, delightful as the moon, with the essence of gold embodying all forms of prosperity. Okay. So gold has been associated with prosperity in Indian spirituality for long. Okay. We don't have the green color for prosperity. We have the golden color for prosperity. And even astrology or jyotish supports that, because it's fine, ma'am, not a problem. Because Jupiter is the harbinger of prosperity, not Mercury. The color of Jupiter is always gold or yellow. Mercury is green. Okay, so it is always Jupiter. All forms of prosperity starts with Jupiter. So now we will look at the components or the words in the mantra and what they mean, right? So Hiranya Varnam means the one who is as pure and resplendent as gold. Harinim means the beautiful as well as blossoming. It also means female deer. Okay, because if you look at the Lakshmi Puran, goddess Lakshmi had once turned herself into a doe. Okay, just to attract Vishnu, right? If you know the story. Harinim also means the one who resides in Sri Hari, okay, or Vishnu, or the one in whom Hari resides. Okay. Suvarna Rajatas Rajam. So it refers to the one who is garlanded with gold and silver, and also the one who wears the garland of flowers made of or as resplendent as gold and silver. Chandram is, of course, the moon. Okay, but in this context, it refers to the one who is as cooling and soothing as moonlight. Okay. Hiranmayim, the one who is embodiment of gold, the one who is molten gold or living prosperity. Okay. Lakshmin, it is Lakshmin, not Lakshmi. Okay. So Lakshmin, of course, is the goddess of prosperity, who is also the divinity endowed with all auspiciousness and goodness. Okay. Jatavedas is, of course, the omniscient fire, or the most sacred fire presiding over rituals. Ma means Ma Avaha. Ma means to me. And Avaha means to bring her from every direction in every respect. Okay. So what it essentially means is, it's an address to Jatavedas. And, we are requesting Jatavedas to please bring Lakshmi, who is the goddess of prosperity and fullness, to you. Okay. So what the seer, or what the one who is reciting the mantra is telling Jatavedas, that may I recognize and embrace her or Lakshmi as Hiranyavarna, right? So Hiranyavarna is the radiance of the intrinsic omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence of Jatavedas. And once the seeker is saying that once he or she is enlightened by this radiance, may he or she become aware of the 7 manifestations. Okay, so we know that Agni is also known as Sapta Jiva, right? Sapta Jiva means the being with 7 flames. Guys, just give me a second. I'm expecting an electrician to come in. Just give me a second. Really sorry about that interruption. So we know that Agni is known as Sapta Jiva, or the being with 7 flames, and it is a recognition of Agni residing in us as as 7 chakras, or the Sapta chakras. Okay, and what are the chakras? They are nothing but centers of consciousness. All right, no one has seen the chakras. The chakras are not mentioned in any kind of Vedic texts. Only the Rudra Yamala Tantra mentions the chakras. Okay, so nowadays it's a big business, but anyways, so the seeker is praying that once he or she is nourished by these 7 flames, may he or she experience the full range of human potential, and that is what brings you wealth. Your abilities bring you wealth, right? You have to be skilled enough to get wealth. The reason why people don't make money is because they are not skilled enough to make that amount of money. We all have a desire for this much amount of money in our lives. Like, you know, I want maybe a crore rupees to fulfill my dreams, or $1 million to fulfill my dreams. But the better question to ask is, am I skilled enough to earn rupees 1 crore? If not, then you have to realize your potential. You have to get skilled, right? And who is the guide for you to get these skills? It is these 7 flames, or the 7 chakras. Okay. And it is a prayer to Agni that, guided by these 7 flames, the seeker seeks to reach all 7 realms of existence. Sit at the divine feet of the Saptarishis, or the 7 divine sages, and enjoy being a resident of an island which is made of 7 gems, surrounded by the 7 seas. Okay, so 7 has a huge importance here. Okay, and in Indian numerology, 7 is the number associated with anyone. 7 is Ketu. Okay, 7 is Ketu. So, you have to stop thinking from your head and start thinking from your heart. Ketu represents thinking from your heart, because Ketu is the great headless one. Okay, so once you start thinking from your heart, it is a prayer to Hiranyavarna Lakshmi and her intrinsic radiance, that she helps you recognize her as Havya Vahana. What is Havya Vahana? Havya Vahana is the vehicle that carries, your prayers, your meditations, and your offerings to the intended place, to the intended deity in a timely manner. That is the reason, you need Agni in a homa. Okay, Agni is the carrier of all your offerings. To whichever deity you are praying, Agni is the carrier of all the offerings. Okay, so here Lakshmi herself is regarded as the, Havya Vahana, who transports your oblations to the realm of divine providence, where destiny is created. Okay, and she is also personalized as digestive fire, which transports nutrients to all the cells, all the limbs and organs of the body, right? So she is the one who transports your meditation, your recitation, to the state of samadhi. She is the one who transports your mind to the rishis of the mantras. She is the one who brings the love, affection, and goodwill of your loved ones to you. And she is the one who carries your love, affection, and goodwill, to your loved ones. Okay, so this Hiranyavarna Lakshmi and her intrinsic radiance is the one who helps you recognize, her as Ashvodhara. What is Ashvodhara? Ashvodhara is the omniscient being who contains your mind and senses in its womb. Okay, and that is the reason the mind does not have a location. It is said that the mind does not have a location inside the body. It is said that the mind is located somewhere else outside the body. This is your brain. Okay, this is your brain. This is not your mind. The mind is something else. Okay, and it is a prayer to this resplendent Lakshmi that she enables you to comprehend that she is the primary source of love, care, protection, and nourishment for your mind and senses. And any sadhaka who has reached that state of enlightenment, he or she, if you have interacted with him or her, he or she will tell you that it is Lakshmi who is responsible for all the illusions of separation. I am separate from you, right? I am separate from this computer screen. I am separate from this air conditioner behind me. So it is Lakshmi who creates this illusion of separation. Okay, so this prayer or this mantra is a petition that Lakshmi should nourish your mind and senses. Why? Because once your mind and your senses are filled with self-trust and confidence in, you'll have the power to heal and rejuvenate yourself. Okay. And who is the guide here? The guide is Jatavedas, right? So this verse is a prayer to Jatavedas that may your mind explore, or may Jatavedas guide your mind to explore the objects of the world and experience them in the most enlightened and fulfilling manner. Okay. It is also a prayer to Hiranyavarna Lakshmi and her intrinsic radiance to help you recognize her as Vaishvanara. Okay, Vaishvanara. What is Vaishvanara? Vaishvanara is the unique form of life force that fills the nooks and crannies of your body, the earth, and the entire space encompassed by the sun's orbit. Okay. And it is a prayer to Lakshmi as Vaishvanara, who is responsible for executing the law of change. What is the law of change? Everything that is born must die. That is the law of change, right? Everything that is born must undergo some transformation. There is no birth, there is no death. There is only a transformation from the physical to the non-physical, and vice versa. So it is a prayer to Jatavedas that the intrinsic radiance of Jatavedas enables you to foresee the patterns of change and extract the best that this change contains. Okay, so everyone is affected by change. If you're born in this planet, you will have to, you have to undergo change. But there is a way to experience only the best side of that change, right? Always to be on the right side of that change. Yes, change can be very painful. That is the reason people say sadhasati is very painful, because it changes you. It forces to change you. It forces you to change. But this prayer to Lakshmi is is a request to allow you to be in the right side of this change. Okay. And it's a prayer that her radiance should transform your negative, destructive thoughts and feelings into thoughts that are constructive. Okay. And guided by this radiance of Lakshmi, it's a prayer that you are, you engage in actions that fill the landscape of your mind with the power of will, determination, enthusiasm, and self-confidence. Right? It's also a prayer to Hiranyavarna Lakshmi and her radiance to help you recognize her as Kaumara Teja. Who is Kaumara Teja? Kaumara Teja is the omniscient being who emits the energy of joy and innocence. Okay? And it's a petition to Jatavedas that the intrinsic radiance of Jatavedas enables you to reclaim and retain the purity and spontaneity of your childhood, right? You have to be a child to experience the kingdom of God. That is the reason Jesus said, only children can enter my kingdom. There's a reason for this saying, only children can enter the kingdom. He was not a fool, right, to say that. So you need to have the purity and spontaneity of a child to experience this phenomena. Okay, because as a child only you enjoyed playing with the objects of the world without judging. Why children? Because children are non-judgmental, right? It's a prayer to make you non-attached, because after you finish playing with the objects of the world, they should not linger in your mind. And this is the primary definition of attachment. Whatever ended, it still lingers on. Right? There's a very beautiful, there's a very beautiful story. Two monks, Buddhist monks, one very old and one very young, who had just taken the monastic vows. So two monks, one very young and one very old, were trying to cross a river. Now the old monk had taken a pledge to never touch any female. And then as they were crossing the river, a very beautiful lady came and requested the old man to help her cross. And without saying a word, the old man just lifted the lady on his shoulders and helped her cross the river. And the young man was just looking with an open mouth. My master, who had vowed before me never to touch any girl, had suddenly broken his vows. Am I seeing an illusion? And then when when the lady went away, he just went to his master and said, You had promised not to touch any female. Then why did this happen? And the master replied, I have left the lady long ago. Who or why are you carrying her still in your mind? So this is attachment, right? This is attachment. So it's a prayer to Chata Vedas so that you succeed in all your endeavors, but consume only what your body and mind can digest and assimilate. This is a problem, isn't it? We are in an age of over information, right? We try to digest and assimilate everything, but it is not possible because our body and mind are limited, right? So you are also praying through this verse to Jata Vedas to help you recognize Hiranya Varna Lakshmi as Vishwamukha, the face or the mouth of the universe, so that as a seeker, you recognize her face in your face. You understand that when you eat or drink, you are making an offering. You are making her an offering into your mouth. So that when you hear or when you hear and when you heed, it is she who is speaking to you through the mouth of the world. It's a prayer so that you are able to comprehend the intention behind people's actions. And it's also a prayer that you may respond to those actions with full awareness that your will always prevails. Okay? Why? Because eventually the outcome of all your actions will ultimately end up in your mouth. Okay? You are the one who will digest and process those actions. Right? The fruits of your actions will come to you as destiny. This is the law of karma. People think that destiny is something which is up there. No. The fruits of your actions come back to you as your destiny. What is karma today becomes your destiny tomorrow. So in a sense, you are the creator of your destiny, right? And since you are the creator, this is a prayer that you remain active in the world with full awareness that you are the creator and master of your destiny, right? In your destiny, there is no room for frustration and disappointment. That for you, love is unconditional. And you know how to design a destiny for you that carries the gift of lasting fulfillment and ultimate freedom. Okay? So this is a prayer to Hiranyavarna Lakshmi to help you recognize her as Devamukha. Right? Devamukha refers to the mouth of all celestial beings. And all celestial beings receive nourishment when offerings are made into your mouth. All celestial beings also serve as your mouth. Right? So Lakshmi offers or Lakshmi accepts your offerings when they are made into the mouth of celestial beings. Celestial beings are the mouthpiece of Lakshmi. Lakshmi speaks to you through them. And it's a prayer to these celestial beings that they transmit their guiding radiance only in proportion to your current capacity to withstand it, because again, capacity is limited. Okay? So it's a prayer to expand the scope of your consciousness so that you can comfortably assimilate the ever-increasing intensity of the radiance of those celestial beings. Okay? And that recognition, that ever-increasing intensity is the way to seek and find prosperity, which is auspicious, beautiful, and dignified. Okay? Just give me a second, guys. My electrician has come. Just give me a second. Yeah. Really sorry, guys. Some kind of emergency. Okay, so where was I? Did I speak about Devamukha? Devamukha, if you remember. I think I did. Okay, so this is also a prayer that, to Jata Vedas to help you recognize and embrace Lakshmi as Harini. Okay, and who is Harini? Harini is the divinity adored by Hari. right? And Hari is regarded as the, as the sustainer. He is the master of all beings, all living beings. And it is a prayer that the Divine Mother Lakshmi, who is the consort of Vishnu, should infuse your mind with the qualities of a vigilant deer that is constantly on the move in search of greener pastures. Okay, so this is a, uh, what to say, there is a word commonly used, when are you settling down, right? There is this, there is this question that is commonly put to the youth, when are you settling down and getting married? What people don't realize is that when you die and when you are burnt down, even your ashes don't settle. So settling down is a myth, right? Settling down is a myth. You have to constantly move in search of greener pastures. So this is very, very important. Okay. And, it is a prayer that that you should be free from sloth and inertia, and that guidance will come from her nourishing energy. Okay. It's a prayer not to fall victim to complacency. Okay. It is a prayer that you should be able to traverse all terrains of life with the clear objective of reaching a safe place abounding in nourishment. Okay. So this is not something. There's a problem. Yeah, not a problem, Shannon. You can disconnect and then reconnect. So there is nothing, nothing magical or nothing miraculous about it. Nourishment exists, but you have to move towards it, right? You have to move towards it. But you can move towards outer prosperity only when the company of Lakshmi brings you inner prosperity. And it is also a prayer that you are able to invest your outer as well as inner prosperity to serve a higher cause, serving all living beings whom Sri Hari loves as his own children. Okay. It's very easy, to call yourself as a Narayan Bhakt, but it's very difficult to follow the philosophy of Narayan. Okay. No one actually knows the philosophy of Narayan. The philosophy of Narayan is that God is in all beings. That means I am God, you are God, your neighbor is God, your wife is God, your son is God, your teacher is God, even your worst enemy is God. Right? But then we are not taught how to see the world in this way. And that grace to see the world in the philosophy of Sri Vishnu or Sri Hari is only brought about by the radiance of Sri Lakshmi. Okay, it's also a prayer to recognize and embrace Lakshmi as Suvarna Rajata Sraja. Okay, it's a combination of two words. Suvarna Rajata Sraja. Suvarna Rajata Sraja. Okay, together it is said as Suvarna Rajata Sraja, but it's a combination. And it refers to the goddess wearing a garland of silver and gold. And, it is this unique form of radiance that is supposed to upgrade your taste and to inspire you to extract and acquire the best in your surroundings and in yourself. Okay, so it's about awakening your sense of aesthetics. Nowadays we are having a generation who does not have any sense of aesthetics. We are having buildings which are very bland. We are having, landscapes which look less like landscapes and more like, boxes. So it's all about having a sense of aesthetics. Okay. And once you have that sense, you start appreciating what is good and beautiful in you, as well as what is good and beautiful in others. And this, this lustre of the Divine Mother Lakshmi is said to outshine the lustre of all precious gems and metals. Okay. It is also a prayer to recognize and embrace Lakshmi as Chandra. And what is Chandra? Chandra is that lunar energy that cools your aggressive tendencies, right? And this is something that you can do on a daily basis. If you feel too angry, if you're too irritated, if someone is if someone is facing anger issues, just go and stare at the moon. Okay, and do it for 5 to 10 minutes every day, and it's going to be a wonderful experience. So it's a prayer that that you should be, or it's a prayer for it's a prayer to Lakshmi to enable you to think and speak in a kind and loving manner. And think about this, we lose opportunities because we don't speak in a kind and loving manner. Okay, now being kind and loving does not mean being agreeable. Okay, you can also disagree in a very kind and very loving manner. Okay, and that reflects a very equanimous mind. Okay, it's about not being a threat to anyone and also not seeing anyone as a threat. Okay, it is also a prayer to recognize Lakshmi as Hiranmayi, the resplendent goddess who has no tolerance for darkness. Okay, so it's about having a philosophy of life that affords no room for low grade thoughts, beliefs, and ambitions. Okay, so once you start living under the guidance of this Hiranmayi Lakshmi, the resplendent goddess of prosperity, you are freed from the feelings of unworthiness that empowers you to design your life in a manner befitting her standards. Okay, so it's all about raising your standards, right? And this is the first verse. So we'll not go to the second verse today, and I again apologize for for this miscalculation. The electrician came at the wrong time, but anyway, since it's a disruption by an electrician, I would say it's a disruption by Rahu. Okay, so any questions from your end? If not, we can end the session.
Discussion मध्ये hello.
Yeah, Kushagraji, tell me.
Good evening and thanks for the session. Actually, it got interrupted twice in the between.
Yeah.
I just had to ask something. You told about I was unable to listen anything after the Hiranya Varna's Haranam Suvarnam Rajatasajam. I was unable to completely hear the words after that. I think electrician came and it got disrupted. So I just want to ask you over there. Jata Veda means it does means that Lakshmi is born out of Vedas, or is Lakshmi means is that the right meaning? I'm getting it. Jata Vedoma Avaha.
Not exactly. Jata Vedas is the divine omniscient being. You're praying to that divine omniscient being to bring Lakshmi to you. Ma.
Okay.
Jata Veda
Okay.
Ma Avaha means Ma means me, and Avaha
Okay.
means to bring, right?
Okay. Jata
Yeah.
Veda. Okay. Bring prosperity or abundance to me.
Yeah, bring Lakshmi ji to me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you guys have to catch the recordings because it got interrupted and the flow got
In the
interrupted.
between, yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Thank you.
anyways,
I will.
yeah. Please catch up with the
Uh,
recordings, and the recordings will be uploaded immediately because of these interruptions. I thought I'd be uploading the recordings next week, but it'll be uploaded immediately. And before we end the class, this is just a announcement for the Siddha Surya Kriya, the class for which we'll be having on the 22nd of April from 7 o'clock. For those who are a part of Satyam Shivam Sundaram, it's already included in the course. But Surya Kriya is very essential because Surya is regarded as the lord of the Rajas Guna. Okay, Rajas Guna is your ability to create. Okay, and if Surya is weak, if the Rajas Guna is weak, then the Rajas planets, that means Mercury and Venus, they cannot create resources for you. Okay, so it's very important that you have the right energy of Surya to empower your Mercury and Venus. Okay, and for that reason, you have this Siddha Surya, Siddha Surya Kriya, which will be shared. For details, you may contact me on WhatsApp or on Messenger. And Anyways, yeah, it happens. It happens. Interruptions are everywhere. Okay. Anyways, thank you everyone for joining in. I'll see you tomorrow for the Kala Sarpa class, as well as on Sunday for the Jyotish Foundation master class. And we'll be having Satyam Shivam Sundaram on the usual time of 7 o'clock. Thank you so much. Om Gurave Namaha.